I think it'd be pretty accurate to say that Nightwing is one of the more favorable and appreciated characters among readers of DC Comics. He's come a long way since his debut as Robin in 1940, successfully escaping his mentor's shadow and becoming a successful hero in his own right. Dick Grayson is arguably the gold standard for how the in-universe younger generation of heroes can make an impact. Some men aspire to be more like him, may or may not be popular with the ladies, but with every prominent superhero, there comes a wave of bad takes that have the potential to become widespread, and present a very false image of who the character actually is in the source material, whether it be misreadings, people taking adaptations that deviate heavily as gospel, or just simply bad faith arguments. Ain't nothing more annoying than seeing slander about one of your favorite fictional characters. So that's why I'm here, to do what I can to mitigate some of the nonsense. There's been videos covering bad takes on Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, so it was only right to have one centered on Nightwing. The first misconception I'd like to cover is the notion that Dick Grayson is always this happy-go-lucky wisecracker and a one-dimensional character that's always perfect, being reduced to the most lighthearted, goofy Robin. Now, don't get it twisted. He's definitely more warm and outgoing when compared to someone like Batman. He might have some comedic banter or quip here and there, but there's a lot more seriousness to Nightwing's character than people give him credit for. Dick is very dedicated and has very high expectations of himself in an effort to avoid failure at all costs, often overworking himself. Nightwing's high standards can also extend to some of his allies and teammates when he's in a mentor or leadership position. He's not afraid to be confrontational and direct with his friends if they screw up or aren't putting their best foot forward. In terms of how he grew to reach the level he's at currently, Dick would sometimes struggle with his own emotions of anger and rage, especially if the well-being of his friends and loved ones were in jeopardy, or have moments where he would compare himself to Batman if he was feeling doubtful about his competency as a crime fighter, or believed he was acting out of emotion. Dick highly values maintaining control and overcoming any rageful tendencies to perform his best in any situation, which is why he'd beat himself up after what he deems a screw-up resulting from his failure to control his emotions. Obviously, this doesn't mean Nightwing's overall personality is the complete opposite of what some people are led to believe. He's not a rageful person with 24/7 anger issues. He's an optimistic, kind and caring individual who also takes his responsibilities as a hero very seriously and will scold others for slacking off or putting others in jeopardy. Like any other human being, he'll have moments where his emotions get the better of him before he checks himself. It's part of what makes him a three-dimensional character rather than a static or boring one. Sometimes he'll be caught lacking and catch an attitude if he's in a bad mood, while also being capable of being laid back with those he trusts and cares for deeply. But if you betray his trust or put those he cares about in harm's way, that is not a version of the character you want to mess with. He's learned from his mistakes and is one of the few comic characters that doesn't face constant character regression. Another weird take I'll sometimes hear is that Nightwing is significantly less skilled of a crime fighter than Batman and isn't that remarkable of a hero overall.
If you think that Nightwing can defeat Daredevil, you are greatly mistaken. Now, does Batman have a chance against Daredevil? Of course Batman has a chance against Daredevil, but he's not losing to no glorified sidekick. No glorified sidekick.
Oh my God.
If your only exposure to Nightwing is via outside media, then it wouldn't be surprising to have that mentality, since writers in certain games or animated projects love to hoe Dick Grayson for some reason. The DC animated movie universe had this dude incapacitated, severely injured, or in the one case, actually die and come back to life in most of his appearances in that universe. The Arkhamverse also didn't do a whole lot of favors when it comes to Nightwing's reputation to the average person.
End of the line, Quinn.
Bad night!
Nightwing.
Eric! Bad night!
Need some help?
Good news. I found Penguin. He's right where we want him. Cocky little bastard. You've been taken from me all night, Batman. It's time I did a little taking of my own. Bat, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Well, ain't this cozy? You need to keep an eye on this one, Batman. He's a bit too careless for my liking. Come any closer, and you get to see the contents of his head. Oh my God!
But if we actually look at what's presented in the source material, Nightwing's no slouch when it comes to crime fighting. Batman taught Dick everything he could when he was Robin, allowing Nightwing to become an expert in all forms of martial arts. Dick was coached as a circus acrobat since infancy, and is said to be the greatest human acrobat on Earth, with multiple statements cementing his status as possessing unparalleled acrobatic skill. Batman has acknowledged Nightwing as the toughest and most skilled out of all the former Robins in hand-to-hand combat, and is overall the best out of all the other Bat family members. It's also firmly established that Nightwing is either second only to Batman in terms of fighting skill or his equal. This dude has repeatedly put belt to ass when it comes to fighting enhanced individuals like Deathstroke. He's competent enough to outskill Midnighter, who is equipped with a neural combat simulator that computes every single possible outcome of an encounter before it happens. Midnighter also went out of his way to memorize all of Dick's moves as Nightwing, and he still got outskilled. The average Joe would probably think, damn, is Nightwing really like that? Like, yeah nigga, he's been like that for a while. It's also odd how people downplay Dick's overall intelligence and think he's leagues below Batman or Tim Drake when it comes to being a detective or his expertise with technology. I hate when writers play into that as a means of trying to differentiate the members of the Bat family like, oh, Tim and Babs are the real smart ones.
We're talking damaged nucleotides, unstable phosphate groupings, and synthesis abnormalities. I mean, abnormal even for Clayface.
This sample seems especially disorganized, like it's trying to be 5 things at once.
Oh, maybe it's because these pieces of him on their own aren't enough for him to stabilize into a singular conscious entity.
You guys are doing your nerd thing again.
Sorry.
Let's cut this shit off, bro.
Cut the shit the fuck off.
What is it?
But what is he doing?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Dick is a natural strategist with advanced knowledge of a wide variety of technologies. He learned how to hack advanced systems like Star Labs satellites as part of his exam to become Robin, demonstrating his proficiency in computer hacking.
He hacked the motion sensors.
I hacked the motion sensors.
During his time as Robin, Dick was taught multiple different sciences, including fields like physics, criminology, forensic science, and police science. On top of that, he would go on to earn an advanced degree in forensics. Nightwing could also do things like casually solve 4 of America's most wanted cases in a single morning, design and engineer some of his own technology to utilize in the field. His time as Batman proved he was capable of solving cases and working with the GCPD at an efficient rate that wasn't too noticeably different from Bruce. It's also important to take note of Nightwing's social intelligence and how he's more in tune with understanding people's emotions than Batman. His ability to put his trust in others and see the best in people has garnered the respect of pretty much everyone in the superhero community. Batman saw the potential of Dick Grayson's leadership abilities as far back as his early days as the Boy Wonder, and we've seen how he's been able to lead other members of the superhero community to some degree, even outside of the Titans, such as in the Dark Crisis or Absolute Power event. Depending on how someone has been exposed to the character and what they've seen, some people may assume that Batman and Nightwing have a very hostile relationship and don't share a particularly strong father-son dynamic.
Fuck Batman.
I'm like, what did he say fuck me for?
Now, their relationship can be a bit complicated, but I don't think it comes from a strong place of resentment or Dick having a large disdain for Bruce. At the end of the day, he does care for him deeply. Dick isn't afraid to confront Batman directly and call him out on his nonsense, or ask for an explanation if he's being kept out of the loop. A lot of those frustrations come from Dick placing a lot of faith in Bruce and the loyalty he has in wanting to see Bruce better himself. Part of the temporary estrangement between the two after Dick became Nightwing was a result of a lot being unsaid, and even though they'll have their ups and downs, their relationship has been rooted in having a strong father-son-like dynamic, with both conveying their admiration and care for one another. Dick greatly values Batman's ability to get things done in a way that's pretty much unparalleled, and Bruce has put a lot of trust in Dick and respects him greatly as his own hero. He's trained under and has known Bruce the longest and probably understands him better than anyone besides Alfred. When Bruce came back from his time-traveling adventures thanks to Darkseid's Omega effect and being presumed dead, he wanted Dick to remain in the Batman mantle, allowing him and Damian to be the Batman and Robin of Gotham, while Bruce ventured the globe to build and expand Batman Incorporated. Writers in recent years might insert an occasional conflict amongst the Bat family, as tired of a trope that is, but I'd say Dick and Bruce are on good terms more times than not. It's at a point where Bruce can comfortably say how proud he is, and how Dick always viewed him as a good person. Last point I want to go over is the perception of Dick Grayson being this huge womanizer and a non-committal person. Everyone's aware of Nightwing's sex appeal to a certain demographic, which I guess created this false notion that that he struggles with romantic relationships due to wanting to get around or something, playing into the playboy type persona, when in reality, Dick very much values loyalty when it comes to his connections and those close to him, whether they be love interests, teammates, or allies. Specifically on the romantic side of things, Nightwing doesn't really want to advance the stages of a relationship unless he is truly comfortable and deeply loves the woman he's with. He's not really comfortable with having only casual relationships or flings. Dick's a pretty committal guy. Instances that show the opposite are usually deemed out of character and are heavily criticized by longtime readers. A perfect example of this is in Nightwing Annual 2 from 2007, where Dick visited Barbara to give her the news of his engagement to Starfire, but ended up sleeping with Barbara that night, informing her of the engagement afterward.
Oh, okay, goddamn.
That moment was heavily scrutinized for how badly it mischaracterized Dick, as he's someone known to be very loyal and trustworthy. I don't think this is the type of dude who is dumb enough to not understand the ramifications of sleeping with your friend right before informing them about your engagement to another woman. The flashback was never brought up again in DC Comics because of how horrendous of a writing decision it was, and is pretty much deemed non-canon. There are aspects of Nightwing's character that are often left unexplored in popular depictions that add a lot of nuance and complexity to his overall characterization. It's important for audiences to understand the significance of Dick Grayson's growth from adolescence into becoming a cornerstone of the wider Bat family, as well as the scope of being a founding member and leader of the Teen Titans, having a lasting impact on the wider DC universe. Many are just simply unaware of how capable of an individual he actually is. He's not a glorified sidekick, he's not a himbo or even a perfect character without flaws. Many great Nightwing stories tackled some of the emotional struggles he's had or instances of self-doubt in order to develop him into the hero that we know and love today. If you want to immerse yourself in a journey of independence and personal growth from sidekick to prominent hero, there's arguably no better place to look than Dick Grayson.